Hey, everybody, another eventful day in markets as markets followed through to the downside, came within a stone's throw of the 200-day moving average, which I guess was as good a spot as any to bounce off of after about what was maybe close to a 7% sell-off from the highs of only a couple of weeks ago, all-time highs down to these levels here, pretty much giving back the entire election bump. So pretty amazing to see what's happened. A lot of it's unraveled, I think, for very good reason. There's some very big concerns out there about slowing growth, some inflationary influences from tariffs that don't seem to be going away very quickly. We did see a little bit of news after the close that Trump may be dialing back some of the rhetoric with Mexico and Canada. That's going to really, really help. A lot of damage has been done, I think, probably already, certainly with relationships with some of these countries. So there's going to be a lot of tension regardless of what happens, but I'll believe it when I see it. So if we look at a slightly longer term rising channel, we can see that there's a lot of work to be done here. We're still kind of sitting around this area where we've broken down below this line. We really need to get back up above here. We need to do quite a bit of work in order to recapture some of the, I wouldn't even say bullishness at this point, but to maintain the bull market at this point. We saw that the VIX pulled back today with that bounce in markets, got to just above 26. I took off some long VIX calls there. I replaced them with an upside fly that AG was talking about. So we came off a little bit in here, pulling back. And one of my favorite indicators lately, I taught a class a few weeks ago, and I said, when the VIX 9-day versus the 30-day VIX gets down to this ratio of 0.75, things have gotten a little bit too calm. You can see it tends to bounce off of there. This means that short-term, probably realized volatility has really, really dropped versus implied volatility in the VIX, which is a 30-day measure, probably not dropping very much. So you get that 9-day VIX really plunging with realized volatility, and you get this very low measure right around 0.75. That tends to signal that things are a little bit too quiet. And then to the upside, between 120 and 130 is where things get a little bit too crazy. You get the 9-day VIX reflecting a lot of fear as it jumps above the 30-day VIX, which is just the VIX. And we almost got there today. We got to 120, which is the same as we saw in January. We maybe could have seen a little bit higher, but that's a pretty good band that it stays within. So we'll have to see how this plays out. I think it's a nice little indicator to watch. Here's Bitcoin. Again, that incredible rally off the news on the weekend with the strategic reserve pulled all the way back down, bouncing now into the State of the Union and the potential event that is happening on Friday, where everyone's thinking that there's going to be some bullish talk about Bitcoin. So we saw some of the names, in fact, MSTR have been extremely volatile lately, from 235 to 290, back down to 235 to 290, and a little pullback at the end of the day. So the intraday moves in markets in general, and particularly in Bitcoin names, has been really something to behold. This is a name I wanted to tell you guys about. Amazon pulling back, one of my favorite names, still trading about 36, 37 times forward earnings. Very, very good stock. I think this is one of the AI beneficiaries. So it's something that I've been talking about for a long time. I think this could be potentially a nice gift here, pulling back from 240 to 200. I've got some plays to the upside here, full transparency. I'd like it to get going to the upside. And also Netflix. I think this is a name that has a very, very wide moat, basically owns that entire streaming business for the most part. And really, I think we can see it. We bounced today, just touched the 50-day moving average and bounced quite sharply. We've been bouncing around now. Now, if it gets through 940, I think all bets are off. We could probably see something in the mid 800s at that point. But for now, this is a name in good times or bad. Everyone's got to have their Netflix. So that's something I like. We actually did an income trade in Netflix today. So hoping to see that act well. We're getting some nice implied volatility, right? We're getting that nice option pricing, which is always a little bit of a bonus for a name that you like, that you think has relative stability, which I think Netflix does. All right, we'll see you next time.